Hey guys, so today what we're going to be learning is how to find a reference angle, and once you find the reference angle, how to evaluate a trig function. So let's get into it. When you're trying to find a reference angle, your angle must be in between 0 and 360. If it's not in between it, you need to find a coterminal angle. So for example, for negative 130, that is not in that range. So that means we either need to add 360 or subtract 360 in order to get into that range. So to get into that range, we must add 360. That's going to put us at 230 degrees. So the first part of your homework is going to ask you to sketch it. So I'm just going to sketch it real quick. Here's my XY plane. This is 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180, 270, and lastly back to 360. So 230 is going to be in between 180 and 270. So I'm just going to make a line. And I'm just going to label it 230 degrees. Once you find your angle, what you want to do is that you want to find the closest distance that it is to an x-axis. So if I look here, 230 is closest to 180. And you want to find the difference in degrees. So for example, I am trying to find this angle right here. In order to find that angle, I'm going to do 230 minus 180, and that is going to give me 50 degrees. So my reference angle is going to be 50 degrees. Now for the second one, again, as I stated on your homework, some people do it differently. I like to do it this way because I find it easier for me. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this back to degrees because I find it so much easier to deal with degrees. So what I'm going to do, I have 5 pi over 3. I'm going to multiply it by 180 over pi. So here, my pi's are going to cancel out. This is going to give me 60. So it'll be 300. So after that, I'm going to sketch my graph. So here, I have, again, 0 degrees, 90, 180, 270, 360. So since I have 300 degrees, it's going to be in this range. I take my line and I draw it here. This is 300 degrees. Now 300 is closer to this x-axis. So that means I am going to be dealing with 360 because I want a positive number for this. I wouldn't choose 0. So in order to find this degree or this theta, all you need to do is do 360 minus 300 equals 60 degrees. However, the only bad thing about this is because they gave us our original problem in radians, you need to convert it back to radians. So here I have 60 times pi over 180, and that's going to give you pi over 3. So this is going to be your final answer. Like I said, if you find a different way online, that's perfectly fine. I just find this easier for myself. So now we're going to use this information to find trig functions. So let me get rid of this. So the first one that we're going to do is that we're going to find the tan of 240. So once again, you want to be in this range. It will make it a lot easier. So I have negative 240. In order to get into that range, I need to add 360. And that's going to give me 120. You are then going to, you don't have to do this. I personally like to do it. I'm just going to sketch just to show you guys. So you have 90, 180, 270. And I can stop right there because 120 is going to be in here. So this is 120 degrees. After that, it is closest to 180 because remember, we want to get to close to the x-axis, not the y, the x. So I'm trying to find this angle right here. I do 180 minus 120, and I end up getting 60 degrees. So pretty much what I'm allowed to do now, this is equivalent to the tan of 60 degrees. So on your homework, I gave you guys a chart that will help you figure out the exact value. So in that chart, the tan of 60 should be radical 3. However, you need to take something else into consideration. That other thing you need to take in consideration is the other graph that I gave you that looks like this. So pretty much what this chart means is that it stands for all students take calculus. For all, no matter if it's tan, sine, cosine, secant, cosecant, cotangent, if it falls in this quadrant, everything is going to be positive. For this quadrant over here, only sine and cosecant are going to be positive. You can remember that with S. S stands for sine, and then the opposite of sine is cosecant that we've done on previous homeworks. This one over here, since there's the T, it is tan, and then the opposite tan is cotangent. And then over here, this is cosine because there's a C, and the opposite of it is secant. These are all positive. So since this is 120 degrees, it's in the S quadrant. But since we're dealing with tan, it won't be positive because only sine and cosecant are positive. So your final answer would be negative radical 3. So I'm going to do one more just so you guys get an understanding of it. And this one's going to be dealing with radians. So for this one, we're going to do the cosecant of 17 pi over 6. So just like before, you want to convert this to degrees. So I'm going to take the 17 pi over 6, and I'm going to multiply it by 180 over pi, so the pi's cancel out. Here, I'm just going to use my calculator. It'll make it a lot easier. So 17 times 180 divided by 6. We're going to end up getting 510. 510 is not in this range. In order to get to that range, we need to subtract 360. So I'm going to do 510 minus 360. And we end up getting 150. So this one, I'm just going to make a quick sketch. 0, 90, 180. I can stop right there because I know 150 is going to be in here. Once again, we want to find how close it is to the x-axis. In this case, it's 180 degrees. So I'm going to do 180 minus 150, and we end up getting 30. So this here is going to be equivalent to the cosecant of 30. So now, once again, if you look at your chart, the cosecant of 30 is 2. And since it is all students take calculus, in this quadrant, that means sine is positive, but it also means that cosecant is positive because that's the opposite of it. So that means I leave it as a positive 2. So that would be my final answer. If you guys have any questions, please join my live sessions.